Have you considered making a charcuterie board? Maybe you don't even know how to say it, but it just seems so intimidating. That's how I felt when I first started to consider if I wanted to make charcuterie boards for guests who come here to our guest barn to sleep with the cows. Hi, my name is Lynn Bolin, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks about how I create grazing boards and how really it's not that hard, and a few simple tips and tricks to make your grazing board, as I call them, stand out. Here we have a lot of things that I use when I make a grazing board, and I'm going to show them to you, and then I will kind of pause and we'll get things prepped, and I'll show you kind of the intimate ways that I prepare each one of those. So some of the basics that we need to get started using our grazing board is we definitely need something to put our food items on. There's a couple different options. This is my smaller option for about 2 people. This is what I use for 4 to 6 people, and it just gets a little more crowded or a little bit less depending on how many people are going to be eating from the grazing board. Then the key to a grazing board is a lot of variety in textures, colors, and shapes. And what we need to have, we have our meats, our cheeses, our fruits and our vegetables, and then our crackers. And then we have a few fun things like our chocolates and some mixed nuts as well. And that completes our grazing board. One of the key pieces that you'll see as we put this together is that we have lots of little dishes. And so I have a variety of little cute dishes that I will use depending on the size that I need, or depending on how many people, how much needs to go in, if it's a little bit of hummus, or if it's a larger bowl of nuts. And then these are always fun as well, as I found these. So as you are going to thrift stores, maybe look for some cute little bowls, because that will kick your charcuterie board or grazing board up a notch. So let's get started looking at all of the different ways that we are going to prep and then prepare and put them on our grazing board so that we can enjoy them with friends and family during this upcoming holiday season. The key to a great grazing board is setting up each of your small bowls that have items that need to be dipped or contained in a variety of places on your board, because the rest of your items are going to be placed around them and leaning up against them. So these are forming the foundation of your charcuterie or grazing board. I've included nuts, some goldfish for the kids, chocolate for each person who's going to enjoy this grazing board. We've got banana chips, dates, hummus to dip peppers in, or cucumbers. Here we have some cream cheese with a little bit of jam on top to spread on crackers, and very soon there'll be some pepperoni that is going to go into that cow cookie cutter. As I'm prepping the cheese to go onto the grazing board, I want to prepare it in a few different sizes and shapes. Today I'm using some great cheese from W.W. Homestead Dairy, which is in Northeast Iowa. And they are a dairy farm that makes cheddar cheese, lots of cheese curds. And today, this kind is our jalapeno cheddar. And then we've got our raspberry chipotle merita. I'm not sure how to say that. But they have great cheeses. They do ship, so if you want some great cheese for the holidays, check them out. They have a variety of styles. Here is some Swiss cheese, and that is great because it is a more bland cheese, yet a classic cheese that you can taste with those crackers. And the cows on our farm actually make milk that turns into Swiss cheese in Luena, Iowa. So Swiss is dear and near to our heart here. And if I am going to have kids, which we often do, for the grazing board, then I'm going to use some Colby Jack. And that's important because I think that's the classic cheese flavor that kids love. And you can see a fun idea is to take a little cookie cutter and cut out some of those shapes. And kids often think that that's the highlight of the grazing board. Our next step involves putting the cheese and some of the meats and a few crackers around in some strategic places. We've got crackers around our cream cheese and jam, because those are going to take great with that. And to hold those crackers up, this time I had to put this cheese down here. So not every grazing board or charcuterie board will be the same. And then I love putting the pepperonis folded up into a little cookie cutter. I think it gives a lot of great shape and texture. And back here we've got some beef sticks, and those are great. Those here are from our farm and processed at our local butcher. And charcuterie board actually means prepared meat. And so the pork of the pepperoni and the beef of the beef sticks is perfect and is really the true French meaning of charcuterie board, although we've taken and added a lot of other great items as well. A great way to get some green into your charcuterie board is by using a cucumber. Mini cucumbers work great, or any type of cucumber, and I love slicing them with this fun slicer to give them that ribbed look. I've now added a cucumber as well as a couple crackers. We have Triscuits down here, which give a great texture, and some wheat thins up here by the beef sticks. At this point, all I have left to add is some hard salami, some small mini peppers, and some grapes. And so I'm thinking I'm going to add the salami over in this section and the peppers kind of through the middle, and then fill in the grapes all around. But we'll see what happens when I actually get to putting them on the board. Of course, you'll want to wash your grapes before putting them on your charcuterie board. When you do that, cut them into little clusters, some bigger and some smaller ones. And then what I do is I make sure to pat it off on a paper towel, because you don't want the rest of the things on your charcuterie board to get wet or damp. You can see I've now filled in the charcuterie board. Here I've taken some hard salami and folded it in fourths and stuck it between those two small bowls to hold it up. There's 2 areas of peppers that I cut up into little strips and placed in some strategic areas. And lastly, the finishing touch on every grazing board that I do is grapes. They're great for filling in all those extra little holes. They give a fun pop of color and shape and texture to your grazing board. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a charcuterie or a grazing board. We call them grazing boards here at New Day Dairy because the cows behind me in the barn are great grazers. Whether they're dairy cows or beef cows, cows like to eat many meals all day long, over and over and over again. That's what makes them such great animals. For our dairy cows, because they eat things like corn silage and things that we couldn't eat, they can create those things and turn them into milk and cheese and ice cream. So just like a lot of these products here on our charcuterie board today, they came from farms here in Iowa. We have the WW Homestead cheese, Swiss cheese, which is where the milk from our cows goes, beef sticks, butchered and created at our local Orleans meat market here in Clarksville, Iowa. All of these items are great to enjoy together with your friends and family.